up, Sheridan? I'm Matt Coffin.
And I'm Chelsea Osu. Coming up on today's show, we'll have the latest on a massive terror investigation after a deadly attack in London.
We'll also be live at Brawny Creek Provincial Park with Bella Criscala for the Oakville Maple Syrup Festival.
And Kevin Sackdallen sits down with Arash Madani from Sportsnet to talk Jays.
But first, we're focusing in on the planet. It's Earth Hour this weekend, and Taylor Charette has what you need to know and how you can make an impact.
Earth Hour started in Sydney, Australia back in 2007. It has now spread to over 7,000 cities and towns around the world, switching off over 400 landmarks. It's now organized by the World Wildlife Fund. This Saturday from 8:30 till 9:30 p.m. you are encouraged to show your commitment to the planet by switching off. But why? The Hour Without Power is designed to highlight that electricity is essential in our modern life, but that we should be creating it in ways that do not contribute to climate change and habitat destruction. Over the last decade, the annual call to action has mobilized hundreds of millions of people globally. Taking place around the end of March to mark the spring equinox, it is timed for sunset to ensure the highest visual impact. So this Saturday night, enjoy the opportunity to host a candlelight dinner, trivia night, relax and reflect, or maybe even stargaze. And for those of you who want to contribute to the cause but are a little short on cash right now, the WWF is asking people to donate 5 Facebook posts from now until we go dark for Earth Hour to shine a light on climate change. For Sub Sheridan, I'm Taylor Charette.
Earlier today, Matt Coffin sat down with Anna Poulter from Sheridan's Sustainability Community Team to find out what we can do to make a difference during Earth Hour and all year long.
Thank you for joining us, Anna.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Saturday, we're honoring Earth Hour. What can Sheridan students do to make an impact?
Great question. So Sheridan has been participating in Earth Hour the last few years. I only started at Sheridan in 2014, but I do know that we had participated before that. So what we do is shut off the non-essential lights at Sheridan. So we leave on emergency lighting and any lighting that needs to stay on for safety, obviously. And we do actually go beyond that and sometimes leave lights off for the entire weekend if they're not necessary. And we also shut down some HVAC, like heating and cooling equipment a little bit, try to ramp down to get even more energy savings. So students can basically do the same thing. You can, if you're in the dorms at Sheridan or even at home, you can shut off any lights, light a candle, try to unplug or turn off any equipment or electronics that you're not using. You can go as far as you want to.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, hopefully we leave it off all weekend maybe.
Yeah.
In 2015, the Sustainability Team won a Silver Rating Award from the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. Mm-hmm. Are you able to tell me a bit more about that?
Sure. So ASHE, which is the acronym, they have a program called STARS, which is Sustainability Tracking Assessment Rating System. There's a lot of acronyms in sustainability. And basically, it's a voluntary self-reporting program where universities and colleges, basically from all around the world, can submit their data and their information to ASHE. And based on the information and data you submit, you get points for certain credits. So things like energy reduction, you get a certain number of points for your reduction.
And the Sheridan College is aiming to use 50% less energy sourced by 2020. What is the school doing to achieve that goal?
So with all our new buildings, our new building at Mississauga HMC2 and the new building at Davis campus, we have set an energy target that the buildings have to meet. And then we're also renovating all of our existing buildings here at Trafalgar and Davis campus. So what we're doing is things like replacing all the fluorescent lights with LEDs. We're replacing all our heating and cooling equipment to more efficient equipment. And then you might have seen over the summer, there was a whole bunch of construction going on outside. We were digging up and putting in pipes. And what we're doing is instead of having each building have its own heating and cooling equipment, which is kind of inefficient and creates a lot of maintenance issues, we have to go around to each individual building. We're going to have one central plant that's going to supply heating and cooling to all the buildings on campus. So that will be a very efficient system, and it will allow us to have to only maintain one or several pieces of equipment instead of hundreds.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Anna.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Anna gave us a lot of really good ideas. I went out to talk to Sheridan students to see what their plans are for Earth Hour. Millions of people and businesses around the world will be switching off this weekend during Earth Hour. I went around campus to see how Sheridan will be taking part. So what are you doing for Earth Hour?
Potentially filming a video with my friends and probably participating in it with my family. We usually do that every year.
I will be volunteering for a show that my friend is doing at Dinner Theater. Unfortunately, I won't be abiding by the rules for Earth Hour, but that's what I'll be doing.
I'm actually performing in a show.
I'm going to be downtown Toronto, enjoying the weather. Actually going to be at a dance competition.
Well, bonding with the earth, of course, and extending its life. I don't know.
And by bonding with the Earth, what exactly are you going to be doing?
Close down the lights, sit cross-legged, and go into Zen mode.
No, just nothing.
Do you feel like you should be doing something?
Sleeping.
To be honest, not much, but I'll be aware of it and, fully support if something comes up.
Nothing really. I was just gonna turn off the lights pretty much.
Though Earth Hour is a worldwide movement, there are so many people who are unaware that it takes place this weekend. Do you feel like other people should be contributing more to Earth Hour?
I feel they should. Like I have in past years, just this year I completely forgot when it was.
I was planning on studying. To be honest, I didn't know that it was Earth Hour.
You can decide how you want to spend Earth Hour. You could have a candlelit dinner, you can play board games, in the dark of course, or simply take a nap. The possibilities are endless. Don't forget to turn off the lights this Saturday at 8:30. We're going to take a short break.
But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have the latest from the terror investigation in London.
And the rest of today's news. Stay tuned.
From England, 4 people are dead, 20 injured, and a full counter-terrorism investigation is underway after a terrorist attack at the Parliament buildings and Westminster Bridge. The head of the counter-terrorism at London's Metropolitan Police says the attacker and a police officer he stabbed are among those killed. What we do know so far is that the police officer was stabbed outside the Houses of Parliament, and then the attacker was shot by police. Investigators say before this, the attacker plowed into pedestrians on Westminster Bridge, killing at least 1 woman and injuring 20 others.
We heard gunshots, what we thought was gunshots, turned around and we saw the car had ploughed into a lady, and I think it was a lady, I'm not 100% sure, but underneath the wheel, and you could hear screams, and then we heard gunshots again, and as we looked along the bridge, because we were only crawling along the bridge, there was bodies literally.
Must have been about 10
At least
bodies.
10,
yeah,
12 bodies,
shot,
all in different
just lying
places.
in different places along the bridge.
Being shot, yeah.
At this point, they believe there is only one attacker. The Prime Minister was rushed to safety from Parliament, which has been suspended. The whole area is still in lockdown. Earlier this morning, 1 minute of silence took place in Belgium in memory of the victims of the Brussels terror attack. The ceremony took place at 7:58 a.m., the exact time a year ago when the first explosion ripped through the departure terminal at Zaventem Airport. A sculpture titled "Wounded but Standing in the Face of the Unthinkable" was unveiled in a gesture of hope. The president of Emirates Airlines responds to an electronic ban on flights. In the statement, he believed his company was as safe as any other airline, and the U.S. must have clear evidence of a threat to announce a ban. This just after the U.S. and the U.K. took place a large electronic ban on flights from 10 Muslim nations in hopes of tightening up securities on Emirates planes. A reporter for Vice Media has been ordered to give background materials on an accused terrorist to the RCMP. Ben Makouche fought against the other, arguing against the use of journalists to further criminal investigations. The materials related to Makouche's stories on a Calgary man accused of multiple terrorist offenses in 2014. An Amber Alert has been issued after a 4-year-old boy was kidnapped in the Saint Jerome region of Quebec. The suspect is the boy's 31-year-old mother. According to Quebec police, she is driving a red 4-door 2005 Pontiac 5, license plate 270XLX. Anyone who sees the vehicle should contact police immediately. The hunt is over for an Ontario man accused of killing his 7-year-old stepson. 43-year-old Justin Kyer was arrested last night in Northern Ontario. He was found sitting in his 2009 Pontiac Montana after a tip-off from the public. The family of the 7-year-old boy, Nathan Dumas, is planning a funeral for this Friday, 1 week before what would have been the boy's 8th birthday. In less than an hour, Finance Minister Bill Morneau will table the federal budget in the House of Commons. Affordable housing, transit laws, childcare, and immigration are expected to be addressed. A Catholic blogger brought his goddaughter to the Vatican City to meet the Pope today, and it didn't go quite as expected. Upon meeting the Pope, the little girl got excited and stole the hat right off his head. The Pope then laughed, took his hat back, and resumed his duties with a huge grin on his face. The Davis campus is hosting a career fair for the Department of Public Health. Peel, Halton, and York Regional Police are among those attending the fair. It's geared toward connecting graduating students to various professionals within their field. In Brampton, parents lined up all night in the freezing cold outside Cardinal Ambrosic Catholic High School to secure spots for their children's grade 9 admission. The 85 available spaces at Cardinal Ambrosic Catholic Secondary School were reserved quickly, and 50 more names were placed on the waiting list. Parents say the school has a great reputation and teachers. That's all the top stories for today. Let's head back to the studio with Matt and Chelsea.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Arena Amanova has your entertainment news.
And Kevin Sackdallon has the latest in sports, including an interview on the Jays from sunny Florida. Welcome back to Sup Sheridan. Matt, I heard you went somewhere fun over the weekend.
Well, I did, but first, Bella Criscala is actually live at the Maple Syrup Festival in Oakville at Brownie Park. Bella, what can you tell us down at the Maple Syrup Festival?
We're here live at Bronte Provincial Park where the Maple Syrup Festival is happening every weekend in the month of March. And joining us to talk about the Maple Syrup Festival is Sheila Wiebe. Sheila, thank you for being here.
No problem.
So do you mind telling us a little bit about the Maple Syrup Festival?
Well, sure. It's our 20th year of doing the festival, and our festival is steeped in the Victorian history. The house behind me was built in 1899, so all the Victorian guides and things like that are all dressed in Victorian wear. So you'll get to see all kinds of stuff. You'll get a sense of real Canadian history.
What kinds of activities can families and people expect when they show up to the festival?
There's wagon rides, pancake house, all-day breakfast with wonderful sausages, a guided trail tour of Maple Lane, fresh maple candies being made, family games so the kids can play around on hay bales in the toy area, farm animals, then there's fresh maple taffy. They get to tour through the big house, and of course the gift shop so you can take home a supply of maple syrup products.
And I know you can't probably give too much insight into it so you don't blow anything, but do you mind giving us a little bit of how maple syrup is processed and what goes behind it?
Well, sure. So it's special to this area because these up and down temperatures that we've been having is important actually for the maple syrup production. You need a maple tree, and a sugar maple tree has the sweetest sap. So that watery looking stuff that comes out of the tree is actually the tree's sap. And all you have to do is boil that down. And that's how you make maple syrup.
Well, thank you, Sheila, for having us. And that's all from the Bronte Creek Provincial Park. Make sure to come to Bronte Creek every weekend. We'll show you have a sweet time. Back to you guys at the studio.
I got a chance to visit Fan Expo's younger sibling, the Toronto Comic Con. Cosplayers and comic book lovers got their nerdy fix at the Toronto Metro Convention Centre. Let's check out some of the highlights. I went down to Toronto Metro Convention Centre to see Fan Expo's little sibling, Toronto Comic Con. Cosplayers and comic lovers got their nerdy fix. Let's check out some of the highlights. Hopefully sometime soon.
So the celebration of its 50th birthday, Sheridan is hosting an open house for all students, faculty members, staff, alumni, and the community. The event will be held this Friday on March 24th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at HMC B Wing. Don't miss the opportunity to experience the new building and meet Chancellor Hazel McKellen, who will be in attendance to share signed copies of her book called Hurricane Hazel, A Life with Purpose, with first 200 guests. Interactive exhibits, building tours, and light refreshments all will be available to guests. Apple teams up with AIDS charity Red to release a new color for its iPhone 7 and 7 Plus smartphones. The new ruby red color will join Apple's already existing color spectrum, which includes silver, gold, rose gold, matte black, and jet black. Sources say the red model marks more than 10 years of partnership between Apple and AIDS charity, which aims to eliminate AIDS. The red iPhone will be available to order online and in stores starting this Friday, March 24th. Not only the customers will be able to grab a special edition iPhone, but they can also contribute to the Red Global Fund. It's yet unclear what portion of the sales will be donated to Red's, but Red's chief executive Deborah Duggan says that in the past, the phone marker has contributed over $130 million. Target celebrates stretch marks as a natural thing of beauty. The chain has launched a swimwear campaign on social media featuring 4 models and unretouched images. Social media star Megan Batoon, pro skateboarder Lizzie Armando, model and body activist Denise Baidot, and TV host and model Kami Crawford star in the ad and in 1- and 2-piece swimsuits. Pharmacies and beauty stores across Puerto Rico are running out of hair dye as a growing number of men go blonde. It all began as a joke among baseball team members playing in California, which spread across the island in a trend that spiked yesterday just hours after Puerto Rico beat the Netherlands. Copper blonde, platinum blonde, golden blonde, all shades of blonde, even burnt orange are turning heads in the U.S. territory where the majority of men have thick, dark hair. Those who are bald have opted to dye their beards. Puerto Ricans are not the only ones going blonde. A large number of Dominicans who lost bets to their Puerto Rican friends after their team was defeated are declaring their solidarity by seeking hair dye as well. Rock and roll legend Chuck Berry passed away less than a week ago of natural causes at the age of 90. However, according to the singer-songwriter Twitter, his final album, Chuck, is still set to release on June 16th of this year. Remember that Mariah Carey's song, All I Want for Christmas Is You? So the news is it's being turned into a holiday cartoon, which will be released to home video for the 2017 holidays. Carey herself narrates and produces the film. She says in a statement she is thrilled to bring the story of the song to a new generation of families. Mark your calendars, Mean Girls fans. Starting October 31st, Tina Fey's musical adaptation of the hit movie will premiere at the National Theatre in DC. The new musical is based on a 2004 film about a naive girl who falls in love with her new high school popular group of girls, the Plastics. Who would have known that the one gay moment in Disney's new Beauty and the Beast would lead to some serious drama in a couple of nations where Disney was looking to release the film? Earlier last week, Malaysia has expressed its concerns regarding the scene. Now authorities in Kuwait say they won't show the film because it's out of harmony with the country's values. The movie had been playing in Kuwait since Thursday, but on Monday authorities pulled it off screens after several concerns have been raised. Sources say that in Malaysia, however, there has been a big change of heart about the movie. Malaysian officials changed their mind and now say the film is good to go without any edits. It will begin showing there starting March 30th. That's all I have for the entertainment news. Let's head over to Kevin with sports. Kevin, tell us about the Raptors game last night.
Well, Arena, a potential game of the year went down last night at the ACC between the Toronto Raptors, who are rocking their vintage Huskies jerseys, and the Chicago Bulls. A third-quarter scuffle between Serge Ibaka and Robin Lopez seemed to light a fire into the Huskies, clawing their way back from 16 down to win in overtime. It was a battle of the All-Stars as DeMar DeRozan finished with a game-high 42 points, while Bulls' Jimmy Butler tallied 37 points. Toronto now moves to a perfect 5-0 when they wear the blue and white uniforms. The Raps are now heading to South Beach to prepare for a Thursday matchup against the Miami Heat. The Sheridan men's basketball team took home the silver medals from nationals over the weekend, falling in the finals against Nomads de Montmorency, 68-64, and spoiling the Bruins' perfect season. Dylan Periana and Paul Williams were named first-team All-Stars, while Brian Owusu was named as a second-team All-Star. In the NHL, the race for the playoffs are heating up with less than 3 weeks remaining. In the thick of things are the Leafs, who are holding on to the final wildcard spot. They're back in action tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. These two met last month with the Blue Jackets taking a convincing 5-2 win. The Toronto Blue Jays are in spring training, prepping for the regular season. Earlier today, I spoke with Sportsnet Arash Madani, who was reporting from Dunedin, Florida, on the latest in Jays news. Thanks, Arash, for doing this. So yesterday, a report surfaced that John Gibbons is signing an extension with the Jays. What can you tell us about this development?
Well, without confirming the news, Gibbons basically confirmed it to us unofficially. He held court for about 12, 13 minutes today here at the Blue Jays spring training facility. And yeah, he said all the right things. He said it's good to be rewarded. He said he's got a great working relationship with Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins. He's embraced the new high performance kind of system that they have over here with the Blue Jays. And I thought one of the interesting things that Gibbons said was, he was going to a season where he'd be a lame duck manager. He said, I don't know how much effect that has, to be honest, just in terms of clubhouse dynamics. He said, it's not like it's the president and everybody stops listening to him, So he said a lot of times maybe the lame duck thing wouldn't be brought up unless people brought it up. So, if Gibbons rides out this contract, we're talking about somebody who's going to be the longest tenured manager in the history of this franchise. And the guy who's number one right now won 2 world championships. So it goes to show you just how long this run has been for the Blue Jays manager.
For sure. And another long tenured Jay is Jose Bautista. He was supposed to play today, but he was scratched from the lineup this morning, but is set to return on Friday. Should we expect him DHing or back in the outfield?
Not quite sure yet. And I think there were a lot of people who on Twitter this morning started to almost panic when the first lineup went up around 7:38 this morning. Bautista was batting cleanup as the DH, and then DeMarlo Hale, the bench coach, came in about 90 minutes later, and suddenly Bautista's name wasn't there. But the way Bautista looked at it was, okay, I had some stiffness in my lower back coming back from the World Baseball Classic. Blue Jays have an off day tomorrow, so why get the body amped up just to sit down again tomorrow? So he just took today off, and then Friday he'll either DH or play right field.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, Arash, and enjoy the weather down in Florida.
All right, thanks so much.
The Jays are currently up on the Detroit Tigers 2-1 in the 7th inning. Now's the time of the show where we go through the fast break, where I give you the headlines of the world of sports. Canada's women's curling team secured a playoff spot at the Worlds after defeating Sweden 6-4. Canada will conclude round-robin play tomorrow against Italy and Denmark. The madness continues with the Sweet 16 tomorrow. Toronto native Dwayne Notice of South Carolina will be going up against Mississauga native Dylan Brooks of Baylor University. TFC striker Sebastian Javenko was back training with the team yesterday after suffering an injury on March 11 against Philadelphia. TFC are back in action on the 31st for their home opener against Sporting Kansas City. That's all for sports for now. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Kevin. Stay tuned after the break for your weather update.
We'll give you some weird news, including what an American high school does to ensure everyone has a prom date. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, Sheridan? I'm Jake Howard in the BFTV program, and I'm here with your weather forecast. Keep your winter coat ready, as today is looking to be a cold one. Don't be fooled by the sunny weather. The temperature today is expected to be minus 9 degrees with winds blowing around 30 kilometers per hour. Just make it through today because the rest of the week is looking to be much better. Tomorrow, the temperature is expected to be around 2 degrees with a little bit of cloud cover. Friday is starting our weekend off on a good note with temperatures sitting at a nice 11 degrees. There's expected to be some rain starting on Friday, so make sure you have an umbrella. If you're going out, temperatures are going to drop down to about 3 degrees for Saturday and Sunday, and that rain is going to be sticking around. When we come back on Monday, the temperatures are going to jump back up to around 10 degrees, and that rain is finally going to come to an end. That's your 5-day weather forecast. I'm Jake, and have a good day.
Think back to when you were in high school. It's prom time and you're getting nervous just thinking about asking that certain someone. Well, a high school in Illinois has found a way to fix that, and they've been doing it for 91 years. The high school has boys draw the names of their date while the girls sit and wait. The boys then put on a skit before announcing to the girls who their dates are. While it might seem like an odd system, the students seem to enjoy it and no one gets left out. Kinda takes the stress off finding a date for prom. Well, that's all we have for Sup Sheridan.
Have a good one. We'll see you next week.